Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel and to my podcast. I'm really excited to have you guys here. So, today I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about your mindset. How you can change the reality that you are living based on the mindset that you choose to have. So, the beginning of the year, this is just a really good time. Everybody always loves to take this opportunity to kind of decide what is it that you're wanting to get out of this year. What goals are you wanting to work on? What achievements are you trying to get? Like just trying to really improve yourself through this year. And so I just like anybody else also jump on that bandwagon for multiple reasons. I love the idea of changing my reality. I love the idea of working towards a goal of achieving something, of becoming a person that I've always wanted to be. For whatever reason, we've just, as a whole, decided that the beginning of the year is when we do this. Um, it doesn't have to be the beginning of the year. For whatever reason, I've kind of always have played into that where it's like, oh, by February I've messed up. I guess I have to wait till January to start over again. But that's not the case. Obviously, you can start over at any point. Any time that you decide, oh, you know what? There's something else that I want to work on. You can totally change at any time. And you can change your goals, you can change your directive, you can change the outlook that you're having on life at any time. I love that. I love that we're not just stuck in a box that we have to do things a certain way all the time. There's always opportunities for change and for growth. So, again, I want to talk to you guys about mindset. What you think about is what you bring about. So, being really conscientious of the thoughts that you allow in your head and really careful with the ideas or the thoughts that you're thinking because it creates the reality that you're living in. So if you don't like the reality that you're living in right now, it's okay because you can change it. You just have to know how. There's just tools that you need that is going to teach you how to change the reality that you're living. We are God created. We are God conscious, which means that we are part of a bigger whole. Whatever He is able to do, we are also able to do because we are a part of Him. I heard an analogy of it's like a bucket of water. If you have a bucket of water and you take some of the water out of the bucket, that water is still water from the bucket, even though it has been removed from the bucket. And that's how we are. Even though we are not currently in the presence of God right now, we as a whole, like our consciousness, our humanness has put a block between us and God. And it has put a block between what we know that we're capable of. So God has no restrictions on what He believes He's capable of, which is why He was able to create this entire world. He was able to create us because He has no restrictions on what He knows He can create. He knows that He is a supreme being. He knows that He is able to create. And the creation process, if you look in the Bible and you look at other doctrines out there, you know that first God thought about what He wanted to create. So it starts in the mind, which is why it's so important for us to have control of our mind. We get to control our mind. Our mind does not get to control us. We are the supreme being when it comes to that. And so often, so many people live in the reality that their mind creates for them without knowing that they get to take control of it. So again, going back to when God was creating the world, first He envisioned it. First He thought about it. First He planned it. And then it came into fruition. Then it became an actual reality. So if we are a part of God, if we are God conscious, which means that we whatever abilities he has, we also have. But because we are in our human form, because we are on this human plane, there is a divide between us and the Supreme Creator. And a lot of that divide is in our own mind. Like, we have forgotten by design, it was designed that we would forget how God conscious we were or how connected we were to God. It was by design because we need the ability to work on that, to remember, to choose that that's how we want to live. And that's how we do it, or that's what we're doing when we are working on our mind. We are taking control of our mind and saying, no, we want to be like God. We want to be God conscious. We want to be connected to Him. Therefore, I will learn and I will grow and I will do all the things that I need to do so that that lifeline to God strengthens and gets stronger and stronger. So just like the way that God created was first starting with His mind, that's also how we create the reality that we're wanting or the relationships that we're wanting. So at the beginning of the year, we all like to, well, maybe not everybody. I personally really like to do vision boards. It's a really fun activity. You go through and you find pictures that really resonate with the person that you want to be throughout the year. Whether it's in your finances, in your relationship, the way you're living, health, any of those things, like education, you can decide, you get to decide who you want to be. That is one of the best, greatest gifts that we're given as humans, is the opportunity to decide who we want to be. We get to decide how much effort we're going to put into certain areas in our life to be able to achieve the things that we want to achieve. We are put on this earth, and where we are put on this earth really isn't our choice, but what we do with our life and who we choose to become is 100% our choice. No matter what circumstances we're from, no matter what, we ultimately all get the choice to choose who we want to become. So it starts with our mind. We get to envision, well, who do I want to be? How do I want to show up? What's the type of life that I want to live? And then, so if you're doing a vision board, you get to find the pictures or be able to visualize what is it that looks like. The problem with vision boards sometimes is that's where people stop. Is that they will do their vision board and then they'll stop. Be like, okay, well, I'm just going to put it on my wall. I'm going to see it every day. And magically, it's just going to happen. Manifesting is magical. Creation is magical. It's magical. It's mystical. It's wonderful. It's super fun. But there's a little bit more effort that needs to go into it than just putting pictures on a wall or just putting a picture in your mind of what you want to do or to become. It has to do with choosing to become the version of the person that has the things that you already want, if that made sense. Okay, so let me give you an example. Say, for example, I want to take a trip. I want to go to Hawaii. Well, I can put that on my vision board, and throughout the year, I can just look at it and be like, oh my gosh, I really want to go to Hawaii, but choose to change nothing in my daily living and my daily thought process. That will always stay a dream. It will never come to fruition if all I do is think I would really like to go there. What changes, and when you're able to bring that reality to you, is when you start to live from the version that already takes trips to Hawaii. What would this version of me, what choices would she make? What kind of decisions would she make around finances? What decisions would she make around how she chooses to spend her time? And you don't have to know the answer to that. That can be kind of scary because you're like, oh, I don't know. You don't have to know the answer. All you have to do is connect with that version of yourself. And that comes by sinking into the reality that you already are her. You already are her, just on a different playing field, just on a different level of reality. So you can connect to her. And I love this. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is what I love so much about feminine energy, is being able to really connect to that part of your body. I have learned to love just being quiet and being still with myself and connecting. It's so easy. Like it sounds like woo woo, and it sounds maybe a little bit like out there when you first start hearing about it. But I promise you, when you start to do, like if you just do 20 minutes of quiet time with yourself every single day, and you can connect to that version of yourself, what would she wear? What would she eat? What would she be thinking? And just let your body feel. You do not have to know the answers. In these types of practices, you have to turn your mind off. It's going to want to come in and it's going to want to analyze it. It's going to want to tell you all the reasons that either you should or you shouldn't do something. It's going to want to come in and it's going to bug you about something that you were thinking about earlier. Your mind, that's your human side of you. That is the side that's going to try to keep you busy. It's going to keep you preoccupied. But when you can sink into your feminine energy and you can spend that quiet time with yourself and really feel what it would feel like to be the version of that person that wants to achieve this dream, this goal, it happens, you guys. It happens. It is crazy. I have had experiences that I look back on and I was like, I manifested that. I totally did that. I stopped living in the crazy reality that I was living in. I started spending time, quiet time with myself, envisioning what would it be like to live in this space where I am calm, I am collected, where I feel safe in my own home. Like, what would that feel like? And without even realizing what I was doing, I started to become that version of me that was calm, that was collected, that did feel safe in her home. And when I became that version, I started making choices that made that reality a reality. Like, does that make sense at all? I hope it makes sense, because once I realized this, once I saw that, I was like, oh my goodness. You don't have to have the answers. And that's where we get so hung up when we're creating our vision board, or where we're creating, or we're thinking about what we want to create. We're so worried about, well, but how is that going to happen? And what is that going to look like? And what am I going to need to do? You don't need to worry about any of that. All you have to do is you have to spend quiet time with yourself, thinking and feeling. I shouldn't say thinking, I should say more feeling. What would that feel like? And when you spend that time with yourself, what you're doing is you're training your nervous system. You're training your spirit, your God-given connection to Him, that spirit. You're teaching it and training it how to live from that reality. You don't have to know how, because the truth of the matter is your spirit already knows how. It is God conscious. It is a part of God. It already knows how to create and how to bring about the things that you're wanting. We, in our humanness, in our mind, and in our worries, we are our biggest block to creation. We are our biggest block to manifesting the things that we want. But when we can step out of our own way and really let ourselves connect with what we want, the desires of our heart, we're connecting ourselves to our heavenly parents, who are the master creators. And then they just help to naturally bring these things about, because we're already showing up as this person. So if you're in a relationship and the relationship is not the type of relationship that you're wanting, or if there are certain things in your life that are not aligning with how you want your life to go, just know that you have 100% ability, 100% ability to change it, And one thing that I feel like I almost have to say, even though I feel like it's kind of just, it comes with the territory, I guess. When you start to change, everything around you starts to change. So say it is a relationship. If you start to envision what it would feel like for you to be in the type of relationship that you want to be in, you have to know that your relationship will change. And I know, again, that's like common sense, but I also need to say it may not be with the same person that you're with right now. Like, you may have a desire to have a soul aligned relationship where you feel safe, where you feel loved, where you don't worry every single day at a certain time, what type of mood are they going to be in? How is this going to play out? If I don't get dinner on the table at a certain time, like, what is that going to look like? If that's the type of relationship that you're in and you're thinking, okay, I want to feel safe in this relationship. I want to be loved unconditionally. I want to be chosen. I want to be protected. I want to be with someone who would do anything to protect me and to make sure that I was in a safe place. If that's the type of relationship that you're envisioning, just know that you don't get to control the other person. You don't get to control the other people in your life. So you may be envisioning a better relationship with your parents. You may be envisioning a better relationship with siblings or your significant other. You may be envisioning a better relationship at work, or like whatever it is. But just know that just because you begin to embody that person that has that soul aligned relationship does not mean that the other people in your life are going to change or become the people or the persons that you're hoping that they will. Sometimes the relationship may end, like if it's a significant other. If they in themselves, when you start to change, you automatically signal to the world around you that you're no longer available to be treated in that way. You're no longer accepting that type of treatment for yourself. So what that does, it can do one of two things. So either that other person and those other people in your lives, or the other situations in your life, either they will realize, okay, this isn't acceptable. I can't treat this person this way anymore. Therefore, I must change and become the person that they're wanting me to be. And now remember, all of this is in your subconscious. All of this is energetic. None of this is verbalized. You do not have to verbalize any of this. When you start to embody that person that says, I won't be treated this way anymore, I don't accept this type of interactions, you're just energetically putting that out. And we are energy beings. Like, we are so sensitive. Every single person on this planet is super sensitive to energies because that's what we are. Like, we feel it. So when other people change, we naturally shift and change as well. The thing is, we have to remember, we do not get to dictate how that other person changes. The change in you to stand up for yourself and say, I am now living from a place of peace and where I am treated with love and respect. The other person may not ever be able to get to the point where they can treat you with love and respect. And if that's the case, just know that that relationship, it has to change. It has to, either it will end or you have to go back into allowing yourself to be treated poorly. So either the other person says, this isn't for me, I can't do this anymore, and you let them go, and you're opening up space to then attract the type of person that you now will only accept, being treated well, being loved and respected. Or the other option is that they could change. They could say, oh, I see that there's a change in you, like they feel it. There's a change in you, therefore I feel inspired to do better, to treat you better, to see you better. They feel that and they step up to the challenge and they do better. That is the feminine masculine dance when we're talking about relationships. When you sink into that part of yourself where you're like, I am now living from this space. I'm connected to my body. This is what I feel that I need. You're not demanding anything. You're not telling them that they have to be a certain way. You are just now teaching your body, I am a woman who only accepts love and respect. That is it. If you cannot love or respect me, just know that I'm not available for that anymore. You don't play into the games anymore because you've taught your body, I'm not going to be treated that way. When I started doing this in my own relationship, nothing really changed. Like, I didn't have to say anything. I didn't have to do anything. I just started walking away from interactions. Whereas before, I would have been like trying to defend myself. I would have been like, well, but this is why I did that. And this is why, whatever. I started living from a place where, I started living from a place where I was no longer available to be treated with disrespect, with contempt, and I was no longer in a space where I would allow the other person to speak poorly of me. That doesn't mean that they didn't do any of those things. They absolutely did, but I would just remove myself from the situation. Either I would walk away or I would just shut my energy down. This, oh my gosh, you guys, this is another really cool thing about feminine energy. Your energy is always exuding out of you. Like there's like a space around you that people can feel your energy. That's why you call it like your energetic bubble, right? Like, oh, you're in my bubble, whatever. When you're really close to someone, you can actually feel their energy. That is why some people feel really, really good to be around. Like, you just feel so good. Like, grandmothers usually just feel so good. You feel safe, you feel loved, you feel cherished. And then there's other people that you're around and you're just like, I feel really uncomfortable. I feel really agitated. That's their energy. You can feel it. Like, this is not just woo. Like, it's scientifically proven that there is an energy field around you. You can feel it. So, let's see, where was I going with this? So back it up. When I started to decide that I was no longer available to be treated in that way, when the other person would try to demean me, or when they would try to fight with me, or when they would try to like call me names or just say things about me to try to get a reaction, what I would do is either I would walk out of the room, which that happened many times, but there were other times when I couldn't. Like, say I was in a vehicle with this person and they were just saying things to me or about me. I learned, and you can learn this too, how to shut your energy off. So it's almost like shutting a door. And I would just envision myself, and it's like, shutters on a window or whatnot. And I would just envision shutting my shutters and being like, nothing comes in and nothing comes out. I don't give this other person any more of my energy. My beautiful, wonderful, lovely, feminine energy is not available for this person anymore. And so I would shut it. And also, any of the stuff that they were trying to tell me, I wouldn't take it in, because I got to that point where I knew it wasn't true. I knew that what they were saying about me wasn't true, because it wasn't who I was. And so that's really cool when you learn how to do that. It's just being able to shut that off. But anyways, going back to manifesting, when you start to embody this version of yourself that already has the soul aligned relationship, or is already able to go on these vacations, or is already making this type of money, your energy changes and you start to interact with the world differently. You start to you start to see things differently. You start to see opportunities where you wouldn't have ever been able to before. So I really wanted to share that with you guys, that we are God conscious. And because we are God conscious, we get to create the reality that we choose to live. That being said, again, I want to reiterate, you don't get to control the other people around you. So if you're wanting to change your relationship, know that your relationship will change. It probably won't change in the way that you expect it to, for good or for bad, because things rarely go exactly the way we expect it to, right? So instead of having like a really specific idea of this is what is going to happen, that's why it's so important for you to really connect with yourself and just say, this is what it would feel like if this were to happen. This is the person that I would be if this were to happen, and really sink into that. Because then you're taking away the how, like how is it all going to happen? I don't know. None of us know. None of us know what's going to happen because everything is always shifting and always changing. There's never an exact way that things are going to happen. Like if you've planned it out in your mind, there's always going to be something that is going to be different. And so really connecting with yourself allows you to live from that version without stressing about how it's going to happen, what is it going to look like, and all of that. And also, again, you don't get to control the other person. They are going to make their choices based on their reality, based on how they're feeling and the energy that they're putting on together, and the mindset that they're at. If they're not in a good mindset, if they're not in a place where they're willing to step up and grow with you, you have to be okay with the fact that they're probably going to step out and not be a part of your life anymore. Things are always changing, always shifting. So you get to decide, am I brave enough to ask for the reality that I want? One thing that I have come to know is when you do that, when you step into that version of yourself, when you step into that bravery of this can't continue, it is slowly killing who I am. I don't want to live from this anymore. I want to live a higher, better version of myself. Know that when you do that and you connect with that version of yourself, you're basically just letting God know. You're saying, I trust you. I trust you to give me what is for my best good. And you stop worrying about how it's going to happen. What is it going to look like? And when you do that, you can be guaranteed everything turns out way better than you ever thought it would. It's crazy how that works. When everything feels like it's falling apart and you're like, wait, hold on, this isn't what I was talking about. This isn't what I wanted. Like, that's how it was for me when I first started doing this. I wanted my relationship to work. I wanted my partner to step up with me. I wanted to create an incredible relationship with this person. Like that was the whole, I guess, point, is I wanted us to grow together. And so when it didn't, and it kind of just imploded, there was a part of me that was like, wait, hold on. That's not that's not the order that I put in. You know, I was a little sad and a little bit confused, but also I had done enough work and I had looked at my reality enough, and I understood and I trusted God enough to say, okay, I trust you. Like, I know that I am headed in the right direction. I know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Therefore, even though it looks a little bit messy, even though it doesn't look like what I had envisioned, I know that it's going to work out even better. And crazy enough, it has. It has worked out way better than I had ever imagined that it could in all areas of everything. Everything works together for your good. Like, that is doctrine, that is in the scriptures, and that is the plan. Everything works together for your good. One thing that I would remind myself, especially in the beginning when it was getting kind of messy, and I just had to remind myself, everything that my heavenly parents do is to ultimately bring me to peace. And peace sometimes has to come after the mess. Has anybody ever rearranged a bedroom or a living room, or like done a whole new revamp of any of the rooms in your house? So the experts say that the best way, or the way that you're supposed to do this, say you're going to redo your bedroom. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to take everything out of your room. Everything goes out, and then you only pull back in the pieces that you really like, that you really want. So if that's the case, what do you think comes before the order? It's the chaos, the complete chaos of taking everything out of your room, putting it all in a pile, and then you have to go through it and be like, what do I love enough to put back into this room? That is how our lives go. So just because it's getting messy, and just because it's not working out the way that you wanted it to, or that you envisioned that it would, just know that it's working exactly the way that it is supposed to. It was supposed to work this way. It was always supposed to work this way. So when it gets messy and you're wanting to shake your fist at God and you're saying, this is not the order that I put in, I do not understand what is happening, just know that yes, actually it is exactly the order that you put in. And when you started living from that version of yourself that wanted that thing, naturally you stopped vibing or connecting with certain parts of the life that you're living right now. Just like when you take everything out of your bedroom, once you take everything out of your bedroom and you start looking at everything, you realize, I don't want all of this. Like, even though I actually did buy all of this, and even though all of this was in my room before, it's not the energy that I'm wanting to go with now. I'm wanting a different theme. I'm wanting a different color scheme. I'm wanting to be more simple or more elegant. Whatever it is, you have to know that there are going to be certain pieces of what was in your room that can't go back in if that's the reality that you're wanting to live, if that's the type of room that you're wanting to achieve. So it's the exact same thing with your life. It's going to get messy. And it's gonna be kind of crazy there for a minute, but that's not a bad thing. And it doesn't need to last very long. As you start to live from that version of yourself, the more connected you are to who it is that you want to be, the easier it is for you to see things that don't resonate. So again, like, let's go back to the bedroom example. When you have a clear picture of what you're wanting to create in this room, you know the color scheme, you know the size of the room, and you know how much space you're wanting. So you know the scale of what types of nightstands or headboard or whatever. Like, you know what you want in there. So when you're looking at all of your pieces on the floor, quickly, like so quickly, you'd be able to be like, okay, I want this one, I like that. This one will work. Everything else needs to go. Like, you can do it so fast. It doesn't have to be a long, drawn out process. It's exactly the same thing with our lives. When you get really clear on who you want to be and you start to really connect to that person, and that comes with, you guys, 20 minutes every single day, quiet time with yourself. What would it feel like to be that woman? Easily, when you connect with that version of yourself, you easily start to see what doesn't work. And then you have to be brave enough to say, that doesn't work. And you have to let it go. You have to get rid of it, whatever that looks like. I don't know what that's going to look like for you. Everybody is so different. But it doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out process. You can quickly say, you know what? This is not aligning with the person that I want to be. I see that, if you're working with another person, you have to trust what the person is showing you, not what the person is telling you. How many times have we been with someone where they promise some of the most amazing things, or they tell you the most amazing things in a moment of softness on their side, and then the next day there's chaos and there's yelling and there's unkindness. But it's hard sometimes because like, oh, but they said these things to me, and they said these things and how much they wanted to be with me, but then they're acting this way. You have to trust what people do way more than what people say. 100 times more than what people say. Because people can say whatever they want to say, but how they act and what they do speaks way more to their character and who they really are. So when you're trying to decide, do I align with this person? Is this a person that is safe to keep in my life, given what I'm wanting to create? Look at how they're treating you. Look at the things that they are doing. And does what they're doing, does that align with the person that you want to be? And if it doesn't, you have to let it go. The only other option is for you to sink back into your old reality. If they're not willing to step up and grow with you, then either you continue to grow and they drop off, or you drop back down into your old reality. And who wants to do that? Especially once you've had a glimpse of what it could be. Extremely painful to drop back down into what is currently going on. So you being God conscious, being a part of God, you have the ability to create the life that you want. It starts here and it starts here. You can do it. It is 100% available to you. You just have to be brave enough to desire it, to feel it, and then to let God take care of it. To let go and let God. I love that phrase. I use that a lot. I'm just going to let go and let God because He has got this. And we can trust that when we have been and continue to live from that version, it's easy. It's easy to see what aligns with you. Maybe easy is not the right word. It's clear. It's clear what aligns to you. It's not always easy to let things go. It's not easy to let go of relationships that you have been a part of for years. For years and years and years. In my relationship, we were together for 20 years. We had children together. We had built a life together. But the more I connected with the woman that I wanted to be, with the woman that had a relationship that was safe, that was always safe, not just safe on Saturdays, not just safe sometimes, but always safe. Someone that I could call if I was in trouble and not fear that I was going to get in trouble for disturbing him. Like I wanted to be in a soul aligned, connected relationship where I felt so safe. And the more I connected with that version of me, the more I realized that it was never going to be with this other person. Not because this person was not capable, 100% capable, but because of the choices that this other person was making. I could not control the choices that they were making. They did not want to be that partner for me. And honestly, that's okay. Like it has to be okay. It has to be okay because as I was continuing to embody this version of me, she could not stay connected to that past. She could not stay connected to somebody who didn't want to grow. So it was okay. Even though it was sad and it was hard, it was not as sad or as hard as it would have been if I was not connected to the version of me that was already living in a safe relationship, if that makes any sense. When you get clear on the life that you want, the life that you desire, the life that you deserve, it's so much easier to let go of the things that don't align, even if they are people. Even if they are people. Have there been sad times? Yes. Have I missed being part of a family? Yes. Like I hesitate on that. Yes, I miss my children. Do I miss being in survival mode and fear 98% of the time? No, I don't miss that part. The more that I have healed out of it, the more I look back and realize it was so unaligned and it was so unsafe. So it became easier for me to let go of that, to say, you know what? I don't know how, but I know that somehow by me stepping into this higher, better version of myself, this version of myself that loves herself, respects herself, that expects to be treated well, expects to be loved and accepted as who she is, as I step into that, I am not going to miss out on any of the blessings or the opportunities that that I'm afraid that I'm going to miss out on because I don't live with some of my children. There's been a lot of fear on that, but I have to go back to everything that God does is to grow us and to bring us closer to peace. Everything he does. I believe that so completely. So if I believe that, then I also have to believe that the people that I had to let go of in order to embody this other part of me, that's not going to hurt or damage me or them in any way. I don't understand it. I don't know how it all works, but I know that when you grow and you become closer to your heavenly parents and you become more of that higher version of yourself that just really wants to be connected to God, when you become that person in completion, in with so much love and desire, like none of this growth for me was out of contempt. It wasn't out of hatred. It wasn't out of any negative emotion. It all came from love. And anything that you do in love, it grows. It reciprocates to you. And so even though the relationship ended, even though our family is not what it used to be, I trust that somehow I am not going to miss out on any of the love or the connection that that I want with my children. So that we're coming to the end of this video. I just want you guys to know that you get to create the reality that you want. And when you do it from love and from peace and with a desire to become a better person, everything gets better. It's probably going to get messy before it gets better, but that's okay. It's part of the process. You have to trust it and you have to know everything that I'm going through is for my growth and it's for my peace. God does nothing but try to bring us closer to him and closer to peace. I love you guys. Please work on your mindset. That is where everything starts. Your mind, and then connect to it with your body and how you feel. And I promise you, things are going to change and it's going to be miraculous. And you are going to look back on this year and think, I can't believe how good it has gotten. I love you. I'll talk to you later. Bye.